Good morning from Hazyview yet again. I'm flat on the grass, just how I like it. Beautiful garden, trees all around me, birdsong, beautiful. Lots of flies, unfortunately. It is a working farm, so yeah, lots of flies. I'm reading my book. We are getting to chapter 8, Relationships of You Are Superblessed in English. My Afrikaans version, is Superblessed. I've got in the description where you can buy my books if you want. It makes for a good gift, a very good gift for Christmas maybe. Then I've got my journals that goes with it. It is tributed to Louise Hay, who was my biggest mentor mama, and led me to my journey to self-love. And without further ado, I am going to start reading. Yes, let me start reading. Chapter 8, Relationships. All religion is about humankind finding relationship with a higher source. They all speak of a perception of God within. I know that with a chapter such as this, a reader might expect the answers to how to be happier in a relationship with a partner and whatnot. But the best advice the best advice I have come to understand in my half century here on earth is that which I have learned from Louise Hay's teachings. The key to a healthy relationship is first and foremost to learn to love yourself. If God made me to his image and he resides within us, it means we gotta start inside with love. The dynamic John Sonnet, author of many books, Foresight being one, explains how important it is to be comfortable with receiving and not just giving. What we get in life is in direct proportion to how worthy we think we are. How much you love and forgive yourself will define your world and what happens through you. This took me such a long time to wrap my head around, and when at long last we finally comprehend it, it might seem simple for some, but for most it will take a long time to fully comprehend. And after lots of contemplation and failed implementations, we simply try yet again, until I try telling myself in the mirror how awesome I am. It's not what you look at what matters, but what you really see. Your self-talk will give you away. So start listening to what you think of yourself. And self-talk that's what goes on in the mind the whole time. Louise Hay, as you can see, one of my favorite mentors, has a movie all about this. I put the link down, but I hope you can still get that movie. I put the link down. Yeah, just try it out. How fantastic is the positive side of modern technology? We can just Google or YouTube a movie in an instant. The message I got from this movie was that the best action to take towards a super blessed life is to start with positive affirmations. That which I have in my journal, a daily positive affirmation. I also share it on my hashtag I'm super blessed group, my Facebook group, and I believe also on my own one. We have been talking to, or rather criticizing ourselves our entire lives to our own detriment. If we just start approving of ourselves and turn these conversations into a positive dialogue, we can brainwash ourselves and have a much better chance of a super blessed, healthy life. An example of this would be to share about a beautiful young girlfriend of mine. She modeled for one of the top modeling agencies, who had a close to fatal accident. She got out of a car and was knocked over and unconscious by another vehicle. Although it was a serious accident, when she woke up in the hospital, she made a strange but wonderful discovery. She told me that before the accident, she was battling with self-talk issues. Now, this is a most beautiful young woman, but being in the modeling industry, self-confidence tends to be crushed all the time. Negative self-talk is a forever ongoing narrative. So, to her surprise, when she woke up, She found that the voices in her head, self-talk, had disappeared completely. She was just so thankful for being alive. Appreciation had replaced the negative self-talk. Most of us are guilty of habitually criticizing ourselves. To get rid of such a habit, we need to replace it. An excellent way to replacing negative self-talk is through positive affirmations. The definition of affirmation, as explained by Wikipedia, the practice of positive thinking and self-empowerment. Positive affirmations are simply sentences that people use to describe how they want to be or how they want their circumstances to be in a way that affirms that it's already true or on its way to becoming true. For me, it is as valuable as a prayer. It is a prayer. An example of an affirmation for a cancer survivor would be, I lovingly forgive and release everything in my past. I choose to fill my world with joy. I love and accept myself. As usual, I have my own little example as I had a sore right knee. I researched on YouTube for Louise Hay affirmations for a sore knee, and lo and behold, I am flexible and flowing, forgiveness, understanding, compassion. I bend and flow with ease and all is well. I kept repeating this affirmation and very soon my knee really felt so much better. Our perception becomes our reality. Perception can be defined as our recognition and interpretation of sensory information. Perception also includes how we respond to our everyday life. The way we view the world and everything around us has a direct effect on our thoughts, and as such, it is an important contributing factor to our happiness. Happiness shines from within, and that is why a fake smile remains a fake smile. Happiness from within comes from letting go of past hurts and not only seeing but feeling this, having gratitude for all the good you have in yourself and your life. Both seeing and feeling all the positive things in your life will fill your entire being with gratitude. All your blessings will leave so much less space for negativity. Why should we receive more if we cannot even see and be grateful for the abundance we already have? You can heal all your relationships by healing yourself. And if by chance your relationship with a partner does not succeed well, then at least you will have gained a real and loving relationship with yourself, which is much more valuable anyway. What does it mean to have self-love? Self-love means having a high regard for your own well-being and happiness, not to be confused with vanity. Self-love means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. Even when we are flying in an airplane, the message for safety is to put on your own oxygen mask first before helping others. If you don't, you might not even be available to help. This is still not easy for me to write because I'm still in the process of teaching myself. Self-love means not settling for less than you deserve. How do we develop self-love? And I've got 7 points dotted down. There's many more, obviously, but 7 I've got here. Become mindful, number 1. People who have more self-love tend to know what they think, feel, and want. Number 2, act on what you need rather than what you want. Clutter steals life. Number 3, practice good self-care, which includes looking after your body, which is exercise, mind, when you're learning, and soul, going within. Number 3, practice good self-care, which I've read number 3, sorry. Set boundaries is number 4. No is also an answer. Protect yourself. No is also an answer. Forgive yourself is number 6. Learn by what happened and it will not be for naught. Number 7, live intentionally. Creating a superblessed reality by incorporating pure intentions daily. What are the benefits of self-love? And I've got 7 again. Number 1, rejection is not as meaningful. Number 2, you embrace challenges. Number 3, you become conscious of the things you spend your time on. 4, others' opinions hold less value. 5, you will become less critical of yourself and others. 6, you'll be pleased with the results. 7, you'll know who you want to be. I realized, ironically at the time, when my relationship with my husband was not at top form, that we come into this world alone, and when we leave, it shall also be just by ourselves. Just ourselves. Be just up by ourselves, yeah. However, do not despair. I do have some valuable nuggets of wisdom to share on the topic of relationships. If we want to find out what our partner wants from our relationship and also what we want from it, we simply have to ask. If you want to work at it, be real. Let each of you make a list of your requirements. My list for be included. Be actively involved in our relationship. Really listen and also hear me. Be more flexible or show me more flexibility. Be more trusting. Create a unit with me to feel loved. I think that's most women's wants from men, from their man. Not too sure. Take the time to talk about the future you both envision. That way you can get an understanding of what it is exactly what you both want. This will help you to get a feeling for your partner's wants and needs as well as your own. This will be a good monthly exercise to keep both of you on the same page. Another exercise can be to write a bucket list of places that you still want to see and write down the things you still want to do, especially when you are living past each other with work responsibilities and children. Update it even more often. Action removes doubt. Take time to play together. When we decided in the year 2010 to go with our friends Christo and his brother Joe to a music festival called Rocking the Daisies, a whole new world opened up to us. Our partner was also there, one of our oldest friends and partners on our farm is Reinhard, and he was also with us. I wonder why I didn't remember to mention that. Our son Jean was only 16 then and joined us. I was more than a little apprehensive, as we were very conservative, church-going Christians, and even the facilitators of courses on how to live a righteous life. Our children were both in the ACE schooling system, which stands for Accelerated Christian Education. So when I say very conservative, I mean very conservative. And then I've got a link at the bottom of the page about the trance we got to know there at the rock festival. We got to know some trance. Please keep in mind that both B and myself never enjoyed a teenager life of partying. I started working at age 15 every weekend and school holidays. Age 17, I took on a second job and started working at the Rotary Club on Wednesday evenings and also the Lions Club on Sundays at the Woodbridge Island Golf Course. Then I got married and had 2 amazing children. Together with this, I juggled hard at being the best businesswoman and mother. Still don't know how I did it, but yeah. And it was quite successfully done as well, I believe. Sounds a bit bragging, but today I would not be able to do it for sure. B went to varsity together with his high school sweetheart. At age 21, he fell in love with me, and a year after my divorce, we got married. Together with this, he took on the package deal with kids, and so we were kept very responsible and quite serious. Then, thankfully, came a time where we became more irresponsible and we started to have more fun. I believe we finally woke up to our own heartbeats. I'm not implying that this should be everyone's journey, as it will be unique for everyone, but each and every person definitely needs to wake up to their own heartbeat sooner or later. I'm filled with gratitude for our journey, the good stuff as well as the pain. Our relationship of many years had its ups and downs for sure, which just made it so much stronger. Nowadays, we even play chess by candlelight together when we are alone on our farm, as we have realized the luxury of no electricity. What a blessing and a real good example of having a different perspective to the norm. To call no electricity a luxury, but it really is. If you start feeling into that, it really is. As we open up to life, the highs and lows, we are meeting the most beautiful like-minded souls, and nearly everywhere we go, we are usually surrounded by a community of friends with the warmest hearts. Relationships, I believe, come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And then here's a saying by Helen Keller. She's blind and deaf. When one door of happiness closes, another opens, but often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened for us. Sometimes there is good reason to let go of a relationship, but also keep in mind that most often than not, that's if you have an abusive relationship and you know that it's not going to come right. I would say definitely let go. Look after yourself first. But also keep in mind that most often than not, a relationship is like a mirror being held up to us. And if unhappiness or unease creeps into the relationship, try and see what it is that you can learn through it. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves. Therefore, it is most important to try and find the lesson. Happiness is something you choose for yourself. Sometimes we easily give away our happiness to everyone we share our lives with and forget about what we need in order to be happy. We do not even realize what we are doing or have been doing until it is out of balance. To know what it is that makes you truly happy is the beginning of happiness. Did you know that recent scientific research has shown that the electromagnetic field created by the human heart is actually 5,000 times more powerful than the one created by the human mind? People can actually feel your field 5 to 10 feet away from you. Now imagine someone close to you constantly feeling your unhappiness. Me and myself, having no siblings, are both very passionate, especially about our own ideas, and that has obviously caused many a challenge in our marriage. Luckily, over the years, because of these challenges, we have also learned quite a few good lessons. The most important one is to just remain calm, especially while facing a disagreement. It is the only solution, as obviously both of us are always right, even if only in our own mind and reality. It is humanly not always possible to remain calm, especially for us, hot-tempered as we are. And we are always in the process of unlearning. Our hot temper still comes out all the time, but we are in the process of learning. Failing at it, and believe me, there were and still are many failings, just shows us where and what we still need to unlearn. We are only human after all, and passion can be valuable too, as it proves beneficial in other areas of our relationship. Wink, wink. Nowadays, after learning the most valuable lesson to love and appreciate myself, it helps to remember that it is a sign of self-respect to remain calm, as well as a sign of respect toward my partner and others around us. Respect is to be cultivated, as it is a treasure too easily lost. As most of our fights come about by wanting control, we are both very competitive. The lesson is that we have to learn to control ourselves. Control means to be in power. By losing self-control, we are therefore just giving away our power. By looking at this again, just from another perspective, I am actually winning by not entering into a fight. I have a friend who is a single mom. She gave me some real good advice, which thankfully stuck in my mind. When you are angry with your partner, just try and find 70% good stuff from your relationship. If you can, the relationship is definitely worth it. Being me, of course, I have opted to 80%. super blessed to have found even this higher percentage easily enough. The real solution to a good relationship is gratitude and respect. As I have kept journals over the years, I have an actual date, 22nd July 2013, after 16 years of marriage, when I had the realization that B was actually with me as a guardian for my own healing. He taught me to laugh again and helped me to escape my serious and normal world. I only realized on the above date that our journey was absolutely essential for my past to be healed. He was and is my healing angel and my mirror. Obviously, before any healing could commence, a whole lot of, and in brackets, self-imposed sadness had to be in place, which was duly provided. My husband thought that he maybe needed something more or something else and took his eyes off me. Both of us, for a good few years, went through so much sadness and healing, by ourselves and together, and we nearly went our separate ways, as this always seems to be the easiest path to follow. Within this time frame, I felt quite miserable with our relationship and knew I needed to do something just for myself, and most definitely away from my husband. The STCW, this is Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping, and Silver Status courses, these are courses one needs for employment on boats, came along at just the right timing in 2013. We were on our way to Cape Town and we were gifting a lift to a friend, Charnelle, who was to be a student of these courses. And she's still on the boats, yeah. My fate was sealed when I met Captain Alison Reese, the facilitator of these courses. She was already waiting at her front gate when we stepped out of the car to say goodbye to Charnelle at Alison's home. I remember looking at this tiny woman, but being aware of a much bigger energy surrounding her. I really felt drawn to her with an inexplicable, immediate connection. She was in a celebratory mood and eagerly invited us in for a glass of champagne, but B and I were both much too miserable and definitely not in the mood for drinking champagne, especially not with both of us in the same room. Alison invited me again for the next day, and this time I went by myself. I had such a lovely afternoon with Alison and Charnelle, and it simply felt absolutely right to enroll in the courses without even discussing it with B. I stayed for more than a month in Cape Town, awarding my full attention to learning something new, and by doing so, clearing my sad energy. In the month I was away, B needed to fight his own demons, and he had to find out what it was he thought he was missing. He had to do something just for himself. We did not talk, as I felt that I had talked, yelled, more than enough, and stood by watching him hurt me much more than enough. I felt as if I had lost all my self-respect, and rather than wanting him back, I needed to get myself back. After more than a month, certificates gained, I had an interview for a job on a boat. He and I had always had a magical connection before it became strained. It was interesting that after a month of no communication, he phoned just as I was turning into the parking area of the yacht club where my interview was to be. I'm super blessed and very grateful to say that I have never had an interview without getting the job, and this time was no different. My head was telling me to move forward and to leave B and my old life, and so the plan was to head out with the boat the next Monday morning, to worlds unbeknown to me, and I felt ready. One of our best friends, Joe, phoned and pleaded with me to give B another chance, as he had done what he had to do to get it out of his system, and now he was more miserable than ever, and convinced that he had made a grave mistake. So B came to me the day before we were set for sail, and after hearing him out once again, my heart and our love won the battle. How ironic that the reason I went back was also the reason I left. There are so many ways to look at challenges. It is always easier in hindsight to find the answers to painful challenges of the past. Let's try again. It is always easier in hindsight to find the answers to painful challenges of the past. We can both see now that one of the reasons for our journey could have spiraled from the fact that we married so early, then losing everything financially and with just too many responsibilities for such a young man. Yes, it is always easier to find answers in hindsight. Hindsight provides us with the clarity that we are already provided with all the right tools and answers to fix whatever challenges we have. All the answers are already within us, but timing is of the essence. Forgiveness is key to relationship hurts, and symbolic acts for forgiveness are very helpful. We went on a bike road trip to reset our life together. Not the same trip, but similar to this one on the link. Yeah, I wanted to say I called this one Reset in my article, but this one was a previous bike road trip. Our first stop was Angie's G-Spot, just over the mountain from our home in Sedgefield. There we could sit next to a river, talk and watch the sunset together. To take time to sit in peace with one another is a necessity to create an awesome life journey together. We met Ben Decker, a legend and self-appointed tour guide, who shared with us the history of the Baines Pass boulder, and again, another memory made together. What an experience our next stop was. We stayed over in the picturesque town known as Greyton. Here we met an elderly man who gave us marital advice without us mentioning anything about marriage at the open market on a lovely Saturday. He told us, a marriage is like putting two very rough-edged coarse stones into a bag together. The longer it stays inside the bag, while moving and chafing together, the smoother both become. Although we did not know him at all, he was the messenger of the answers to our questions, which arrived at exactly the right time. If we can only remember that we are here for an experience, to learn, to love, to live, first and foremost with ourselves, and only then with a partner. If we find it difficult to live with ourselves, how can we expect a partner to do it? It is of utmost importance to find out what your love languages are, as well as your partner's, if you want to get back to a healthier relationship. That means to understand how both of you feel loved in order to feel validated and satisfied in the relationship. We need to understand that our love language is all about our own inner conflicts, and I found my number one to be abandonment. In my first book, I explained the reason for that. I explained that it felt that my dad chose alcohol over us, and my mom chose to work long hours, which meant that she also did not spend much time with me. I believe that this is the reason why my ultimate love language is spending time. When my quality time with B was replaced, I obviously could not feel loved anymore, because I love and feel loved through spending time. In my own mind, it would most likely be my fault, or the fact of my performance, or lack of, that he would not want to be with me. One of the reasons for this would be my growing up in a performance-driven environment. When I did not perform, I would not receive love, I believed. B's main love language, on the other hand, is through touch and affirmation. He needs to be touched and told that he is loved in order to feel truly loved. Nowadays, he realizes that he always knew he was loved by his parents, although they never said it. As a child, he struggled seeing this as his parents did not know his love language and therefore could not satisfy him in this way. We have to keep in mind that also we only heard about these things nowadays, and the older generation didn't have those tools that we have so easily accessible to us these days, and so we can do better because we know better, because we have the tools to do better. It is important to take the time to understand our love languages so that we can maintain healthy relationships with those close to us. This is just an example of some of our love languages. There is so much more information regarding the way we need love to be expressed to us individually in the awesome purple book, a must-read, The 5 Love Languages, written by Gary Chapman. It's a fantastic book. We all have a try again. We all have a basic need to feel loved and appreciated by our significant other. It is a good idea to write a love letter of gratitude so that it is easy to refer to when needed most. When frustration sets in over the toothpaste cap or some other insignificant misdeed. It's always interesting to see how big such a small deed can explode into something that's, yeah, so unnecessary. B has said something very helpful and meaningful to me, that I just have to come and give him a hug when I feel abandoned again because I am the most important to him. After all, it is only natural for me as a woman to feel that I am my man's number one. But with our challenges came the realization that this works both ways for partners. Again, in hindsight, and because of our challenges, I am super blessed to know that it is not up to him for me to feel good about myself. Our specific journey has taught me how to love myself, and this feels really good. The best and most rewarding relationship is truly the one with yourself. I've got some tips here from Oprah on self-love, 10 tips. Number 1, take responsibility. No one is going to do it for you. 2, believe in yourself. 3, there are no mistakes, so then you can believe in yourself. 4, offer yourself to something greater. Meditate, pray daily. 5, take more quality time for yourself. 6, go within and connect. 7, every night, list 5 things that you are grateful for. 8, be the author of your life. 9, keep your vibration high. 10, it begins and ends with you. The best and most rewarding relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself, which ties right into the next chapter, and I am happy to have been able to read that chapter to you. It's already getting warmer here, and yeah, if you feel that you benefit from my readings and my little life lessons on my YouTube channel, please subscribe, and please also share with all your loved ones. And with that, I bid you adieu and be super blessed always.